With Montreal Imam Said Jaziri scheduled to be deported tomorrow, his supporters are mounting a bid to keep him here. His lawyers say he might be tortured and killed if sent back to his native Tunisia, and asked a federal court judge to block the deportation. The CBC's Rosemary Barton is following the case. And Rosemary, has a federal judge made a decision yet?
Jackie, we are expecting to hear from the federal court at any time now, but this is really Jaziri's last chance to try and convince officials to keep him in this country. As you said, he faces deportation tomorrow. It was a week ago now that he was arrested and put in a detention center, an immigration detention center in Quebec. The only other thing at this point that could potentially have kept him in the country would have been a special dispensation from Immigration Minister Diane Finley, and officials at her office have made it very clear that they do not plan to step in this case. So all signs would suggest that Mr. Jaziri will be deported from Canada tomorrow. His refugee status was revoked by immigration officials because they say that he concealed during the process that he had been convicted on criminal charges in France in the 90s. Now, he has been in Canada since 1998 when he was granted this refugee status, but it has been revoked because of those criminal convictions. And his supporters are very worried now that if he's deported back to his home country or his country of origin of Tunisia, that he could be tortured there. There's also some fear that he could even be killed. Well,
he has been quite a controversial figure, and you mentioned some of the aspects. Why else has he been so controversial throughout this?
Well, he's a well-known imam in Montreal and has a large mosque and a number of followers behind him. But there are a lot of Muslims in Montreal that also have a lot of problems with some of the things that he says. He is, for instance, a very fervent supporter of trying to implement sharia law in Canada, so a faith-based Muslim law within Canada. He's also trying to open up a mega mosque in Montreal. And he said a number of very discriminatory things about homosexuals as well, basically calling homosexuality a sin. So he is a controversial figure. And while he has a great deal of support here today from various Muslim organizations and Amnesty International, most of those people have made it very clear that while they are concerned about his well-being if he were to be deported, they do not agree with many of the things that he has been saying. I should also point out that Jaziri has a Quebec wife who is 8 months pregnant, and she too is very concerned that he will not be around to see the birth of their first child.
Okay, Rosemary, thank you so much for this. Rosemary Barton in Montreal.